What's up guys, Rob here. I'm rebuilding my Toyota MR2 Turbo's CT-26 turbo. I'm going to spare you all the beating and hammering and swearing and so on. So I already got the exhaust housing off. It was very rusty slash carbon. You see there's a lot of carbon buildup in there, and that was stuck onto this guy right here. So really after I got it past this little step, it wasn't a big deal, but getting to that point, I didn't think it was ever going to happen, honestly. So, anyhow, you can see here it is. I managed to get him out here actually unscathed, even though some of these blades don't, I don't know, they look kind of rough. I don't know, can't imagine them coming out of the factory this way, but also at the same time, I don't know what in the world would have caused that. Hopefully nothing that went through the motor, or maybe carbon blowing by, I don't know. Anyway, next step is to get this actual housing apart. I've already gone ahead and taken this ring off. I haven't opened it up yet though. Reason for taking this apart, I had just about 10/1000ths of an inch, have about 10/1000ths of an inch clearance this way, which is radially. So if you measure it with a dial indicator going this direction, it has 10/1000ths this way. Axial play, which is just in and out, I had about 3/1000ths, which was just within spec. Spec is 7/1000ths for radial play, so I was, well out of spec for that. Definitely don't want to put a trash turbo on a freshly rebuilt engine, for sure. I'm not entirely sure what to expect finding in here, other than the parts. I don't know what kind of condition it's going to be in. It wasn't leaking oil, so hopefully it's not too incredibly bad. Just carefully want to pull this out. I think. Of course it's not going to just come right out. Alright, well there's no screws or anything holding it down, so I'm going to very gently get a pry bar. Scares the crap out of me doing something like this to something that's this delicate, but screwdriver on the other side. There we go. Didn't smash into anything, luckily. We need to go around the housing with it. So there's our intake side. Let me get this in frame for you here. Looking okay. A little closer inspection here. The blades have an interesting, probably can't see it in here, but you can feel it. The blades have like a stepped feeling to them. Right about there. Very small. But all of them are like that, so I'm assuming that's a feature, not a problem. You can see all the blow-by crap that's coming here from the PCV. This, of course, is going to get a catch can put on it because I'm not going to, deal with that again. So, alright, the next step here is just to need to get this CHRA, compressor housing rotating assembly, needs to get taken apart. And then we'll, inspect everything, get it all cleaned out, sandblast it, make it all purdy, and get our rebuild kit in. Alright, so I got this nut off, and it's pretty destroyed. Luckily in those rebuild kits they give you new ones, but anyway, it is not your normal threaded nut. It's backwards. So if you want to take it off, clockwise to take it off, counterclockwise to put it on. I realized this when it wasn't coming off, and I looked at the threads and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Something spinning next to 100,000 RPMs has a probably high opportunity of, winging a nut off, and obviously you don't want to do that on your on the intake on your compressor. So anyway, so this should just all come apart now. Squeaky. Oh, I wish I had the ceramic one in the Japanese market. There we go. The compressor side, you can see the cuts in there from balancing, most likely. There's a couple in there actually. There's 3 in there, 3 little balance marks. So I'll actually have this balanced. I'll pay the $55 to have this assembly balanced. Because there's no point in doing all this work if it's going to fly apart, right? So then on the inside here, so we got a clip on the inside, and that's holding the guts on there. Alright, that'll come out. This should just, if I've read diagrams right, let me wipe it off first. If I looked at these diagrams right, this should just slide out. Probably going to be a mess of crap that comes with it. Maybe not. So I gave the shaft down here a few love taps with a wooden mallet, and this started coming out. So go ahead and take this guy out of here. Oh, it looks like I got some parts that might come with it. Alright, well, there's one floating bearing. Sure, that's one of my culprits. So I go stick this impeller wheel here somewhere where it's not going to get trashed. So in my garage is a very definite possibility. Alright, and then took the clip out of this side, a little C-clip in there, snap ring rather. So I got to get that side of it out. Alright, so luckily this is just something they actually give you like a bit of a lip here where you can pull this guy out. I'm just using a little pry bar. So there's a hole in here, and this little tab has to go in that way. And it spins in here. Don't know if this comes apart or not. Being is that I've never done this before, I have no idea. So play with that later. See what all's in here. We got this washer, or bearing, or whatever the hell it is, and this little deal holding it underneath. Looks like this whole piece comes out of here. Or should. Yep. This whole piece comes up. Looks mysteriously like a ball bearing on the outside, but it's not. So you got some oil pathways right there. Yep, there's my oil pathways. I assume that this bottom V is just where the drain dumps out, but if I look down here, yep, that's the drain and the inlet. So the little hole on the right side here, this little hole is the inlet, that's the outlet for oil. So oil comes in there, goes into this bad boy, travels through this little ring here, that little groove that's cut out, and it makes its way. Doesn't look like it really goes anywhere. It's interesting. So this is probably the whole floating bearing principle where this piece is floating inside of here. That's what I'm going to assume for now. Again, my first turbo rebuilding, so I'm no master. And this guy right here, oops, oh, now my finger's stuck in here. So this guy is the other floating bearing. There's also a little carrier piece that goes in between this side and the other side. The other side is floating bearing, sort of like in a skateboard where you have the little spacer in between the bearings. So this could just be pushed out and push it out its own side. See, there it is, right? Ah, where's my frame? There it is right there. And there's my little spacer right there. Just like in a skateboard. There'll be a lot less friction on the ball bearing than in this method with all this oil. Oil's got some viscosity to it, you know. So here we are a few hours later. I got the housings in the parts washer. Just gonna let them soak, get all the caked on oil and crap dissolve over them overnight. So I'll spare you the super boring part of me hitting stuff with a parts washer and a sandblaster, but I will show you the finished product here in just a moment.